Almost 2 years ago, I made a factions realm with a ton of my friends, and we all had tons of different wars and conflicts that boosted the realm's popularity and made it more fun. Unfortunately, the realm died a year after its creation, which drove me to make another realm soon after it died, but that realm died after only 2 months. It was at this point I realized that people want something different and new, so that's why I made a third realm with the same factions concept, but the world was the Earth, and it was most definitely a success. So today, I'll be covering the history of said realm. Now, because this realm was so successful, there is a lot of history to cover, so there will be multiple different parts covering the history. This is the first part of the history that I'll cover the beginning, but before I start the video, I just want to say that the majority of you guys watching my videos aren't subscribed, and it motivates me more to upload videos like this one when you all subscribe. So if you could just do me a small favor and subscribe, that'd mean the world to me. Also, join the Discord server in the description. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, on August 22nd, 2022, I started up a new factions realm where the world was the Earth. I invited a few of my friends to play, and things were going quite smoothly. Within the first day, 7 countries have formed, named Germany, the Dutch Empire, France, the United Kingdom, Romania, Russia, and the Kingdom of Canada. Overall, people are just chilling and making their bases, like some of the ones on screen. Over the next few days, not much would happen diplomatically. Once again, people are just keeping to themselves and making their bases. On August 23rd, the Portuguese Empire was formed, and they also formed 2 colonies that same day named New Portugal, which was just Brazil, and Portuguese Cape, which was just South Africa. Portugal in its early days was quite active and always involved in the world's diplomacy. They also were frequently purchasing land every other day. On the 24th, Poland was formed by a man named FM Gaming, or just FM for short. FM had been a part of the United Kingdom but had left the country to form his own base because he didn't really like the leader of the United Kingdom. On August 25th, the leader of the United Kingdom, Tiger Shark, or just Tiger for short, was for whatever reason just sitting around in New Portugal. The people of New Portugal and the Portuguese Empire repeatedly told him to leave, but he simply wouldn't budge. They started to punch him around to try to get him to leave, but once again, he wouldn't budge. So after around 20 minutes, they killed him. He came back to New Portugal, not to fight, but to retrieve his stuff. But they wouldn't give it to him unless he gave the Portuguese Wales, a region of the United Kingdom. He reluctantly agreed and got his stuff back and returned home. This marked the first ever conflict of the realm, with the Portuguese prevailing. On the 26th, the country of Hungary formed, and by this point in time, the realm had already been running for the better part of a week, so everybody was getting quite rich, so people were starting to buy more land. Every single day, 1, 2, or even 3 countries were buying land, so the map was changing rapidly. So I'm just going to show you what the map looked like on the 26th, and what the map looked like on September 3rd. Some of the most notable changes during this time were Hungary purchasing all of Austria and becoming the Austria-Hungarian Empire on the 28th. The Dutch Empire became the second European country to expand into Africa on the 30th. Germany buys some land off of Poland. Russia buys a huge amount of land, becoming the largest country in the world on the 30th. Greece was formed on the 31st. The Portuguese Empire buys the Suez Canal on September 1st. Austria-Hungary buys some land in North America on the 2nd, becoming the first European country to buy land in North America. Germany demands land off of France also on the 2nd. Now once again, these were only the most notable changes during this time period, and not all of them. Anyways, Ireland was formed on the 5th by a guy named Flying Gamer. You see, this Flying Gamer guy joined the server the same day he formed Ireland and immediately got to work on building his country. He recruited some people to join his country and things were looking really good for him. He had also obtained max out gear very quickly, but there was one small problem for him. There were speculations that he was an alt account of a player named Basemac who had been banned on the previous realm and was also banned on this realm. So if he really was a Spacemac figure, he would be banned. And since there was a lot of theories on him being Basemac, he was always pressured about it and was always questioned about it. Despite all of this pressure, Flying Gamer was still able to recruit more players, become more powerful, and build a better base. By September 11th, the leader of Austria-Hungary, named Power Rage, and the leader of the United Kingdom, Tiger, decided to celebrate September 11th by blowing up Flying Gamer's 2 skyscrapers he had built in Ireland. So at around 7 PM, they decided to place some TNT high up in the North Tower and blew it up. 15 minutes later, they went to the South Tower and blew that up. As you would assume, Flying Gamer was by no means happy about this and immediately declared war on Austria-Hungary and the United Kingdom. Shortly after, Poland decided to join the war on Ireland's side because they did not like the United Kingdom. Anyways, the first fight took place in Ireland, resulting in a loss for Ireland and Poland, leaving the island under Austria-Hungary and UK rule. The island would remain under their rule for the rest of the war, but despite that, the war would continue for another 4 days. Nothing much would happen though, up until the 14th, when Poland would lose a fight at their own base. Now Germany, a country neighboring Poland, has been keeping quiet and to themselves for most of history so far, but they sense that Poland is very weak and they decide that now was a good time to seize a lot of land, so they join the war on the UK and Austria-Hungary side. The war was basically over by this point, considering they now had 3 big countries against them, so they choose to surrender that same day. Germany, despite not doing really anything in the war, takes most of Poland's land in the west. The UK was able to take some stuff in the north, and Austria-Hungary took some stuff in the south and let Poland keep the remaining land. The UK and Austria-Hungary were not really able to do anything about Germany taking all that land because Germany had been spending all their time these past few weeks building up the strongest military in all of Europe and the world. The next day, Ireland would be forced to surrender to the United Kingdom, Austria-Hungary, and Germany. The United Kingdom would end up taking all of Ireland's land, but only 2 days later, on the 17th, the UK would sell all of Ireland to Austria-Hungary for 4 netherite ingots. For the next few weeks, the nations of the world decided to keep themselves, meaning nothing much would really happen. On the 18th, a new Portuguese colony was formed in Cuba named the Portuguese Antilles, and on the 20th, Kazakhstan would be formed. Then on the 25th, Germany would buy northern Italy and integrate it as a puppet state named North German Italy. The same day, the leader of France resigned from his position as leader and a new man named Dunklin took the throne of the now French Empire. The last thing that would happen that day was a guy named Woolly Badger would form a country named Norway. You see, this Woolly Badger figure was one of the people that joined the realm the same day that was made, and he was a part of Germany originally, but he would eventually move over to Russia a couple days later, but he would then move back over to Germany a couple weeks later for a little bit until he decided to leave Germany once again and form Norway just now. As Norway, he wouldn't really do a whole lot other than make an ice highway in the overworld connecting Berlin, the capital of Germany, to his base in Norway. But for whatever reason, he wouldn't really enjoy his time in Norway, and he would abandon it and move to North America with the people that he had already recruited and form the United States of America on October 2nd. This time around, Woolley decided to play it smart. Shortly after establishing the US, he would sell off Norway to Austria-Hungary in exchange for the land that Austria-Hungary owned in North America. After he was satisfied with his territorial holdings for now, he recruited some more people to help him grow. So now that the US had all these people, he gave them separate jobs to help grow the United States. He had people mining, building, working on villagers, and more. After only a few days of being a nation, they were already one of the world's most powerful nations and were still growing very rapidly. Because of this rapid growth, they needed even more land. They decided to purchase Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, all on October 4th. With this new land, they set up different states to house their growing population. Some of the states had designated tasks to complete that were chosen by the government of the US. For example, New York was supposed to get villagers for enchantment books to help for a stronger military, and Washington, D.C. was meant to be where the capital city of the country would be. We'll check up on the USA here in a little bit, but we need to move back to Europe where the United Kingdom and Poland have been at war once again since October 3rd, and this time they were fighting because of some unknown disagreement. They were most likely fighting for no reason at all. Anyways, this war wasn't very intense at all, only resulting in Poland losing all of their land to the United Kingdom on the 5th. On that same day, Austria-Hungary bought some land off of a country named Ukraine, which was formed a few days earlier. They were also bought some land off of Romania a few hours later. Coming back to North America, the United States is even more powerful than before and is starting to get hungry for more land once again. They decided to threaten the Portuguese Empire into seceding the Portuguese Antilles over to the United States. They were successful at this and annexed the island on the 8th. The next day, they bought Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia all at once. Now, after that war between the United Kingdom and Poland I was just talking about, FM, the leader of Poland, was offered refuge in the United States and he gladly accepted. When he moved over, he enjoyed his time there, but he ended up getting into an argument/issue with another member of the United States named Fortiels, which ended up in Fortiels attacking FM, and FM then fighting back and killing him. Now, the US had a court system in place, so when all of this happened, Fortiels decided to press charges on FM. FM would acquire a lawyer from another country to help defend himself, while Fortiels wouldn't get a lawyer because nobody on the realm necessarily liked him. The trial didn't last that long, resulting in the court ruling Fortiels was the attacker at first, but FM was the person who eventually chased Fortiels off and killed him, and because he started to chase him, he became the aggressor, meaning that FM is guilty of charge. Now, in my opinion, that is a pretty dumb ruling, but FM would end up being exiled to Cuba to work and he would have to pay Fortiels reparations. Now, all of this, starting from FM killing Fortiels and the trial being finalized, all happened on October 9th. Halfway across the world in Europe that same day, Austria-Hungary is feeling hungry for land, and they notice that it would be smart for them to buy Poland off of the United Kingdom. So they decide to go to Tiger, which if you forgot is the leader of the United Kingdom, and ask for all of Poland. They were willing to pay them 10 diamond blocks, but Tiger demanded 15 diamond blocks. They reluctantly agreed to 15 diamond blocks, but Tiger said that he wanted another diamond block. Now Power Age, the leader of Austria-Hungary, wasn't willing to turn down the deal over 1 diamond block, so he agreed once again, but said that he will not pay any more for Poland. But Tiger, once again, demanded an extra 4 diamond blocks, because it apparently should have been rounded up to 20 diamond blocks in total. Power Rage said nothing in chat, but he did drop him 20 diamond blocks. After that, Power Rage then demanded for confirmation that he now owned Poland, but instead of confirmation, Tiger said that he wanted more than just 20 blocks, so that's when Power Rage placed on the respawn anchor and blew it up in Tiger's face, almost killing him. After this, Tiger ran for his life while being chased by Power, but Tiger was able to outrun him and get Power off his tail. Power Rage, realizing that he wouldn't be able to catch Tiger, just decided that he would declare war on him and place a huge bounty on his head. After about an hour, Tiger had set up camp in the middle of Siberia to hide out from the bounty hunters and fighters from Austria-Hungary, while Power Rage had occupied all of Poland and the United Kingdom, since Tiger wasn't there to defend it. The next day on October 10th, Tiger decided that there was no point in fighting this war, so he went to Power Rage in peace and said that he surrendered and that Austria-Hungary could keep Poland from the United Kingdom, and Austria-Hungary accepted these terms of peace. The next day on October 11th, Austria-Hungary would demand all of Greece, leading to Greece being seceded to Austria-Hungary, while Germany, which is actually now the German Empire, would buy all of the Dutch Empire and integrate them as a puppet state. On October 12th, FM would still remain in his exile from 3 days earlier, and he was sick of having to work and not being able to be a normal citizen of the US, so he decided to go to Austria-Hungary, or Power Rage to be more specific, and ask them for a stack of TNT for 2 netherite ingots, and Power Rage happily accepted. FM then went to the mainland US while everybody was offline and placed a ton of TNT traps over the capital city. He then logged off after everything was up to his standards. Just a few hours later, a citizen of the US logged on and discovered a tripwire hook connected to TNT below his house. He then reported it to the President of the US, Woolly Badger, and let him take it from there. Woolly was able to find someone else's DMs that clearly showed that FM bought the TNT off of Austria-Hungary and that he put the traps in the US. To Woolly, it all made sense since FM was exiled and didn't like the US and all that, so without questioning FM, he cut straight to the chase and invited a new member to the US named Bob Blair to kill FM for 10 diamond blocks. You see, Bob Blair played on my first realm and prevailed in every battle he ever fought and never died once, so when people saw him lurking, they had mixed emotions of fear and confusion on why he was back since he hadn't played in over 9 months. Anyways, he got geared up and was sent over to the US while FM was on and killed him very quickly and sneakily. FM, being done with USA shenanigans, decided to flee the country and hide out in Europe. The news of Austria-Hungary's association with FM spread around the world quickly and brought to attention that a big war was just upon the horizon. Countries around the world began mobilization in preparation for the inevitable. The US would gear up their people with every type of item in the game that could be used to their competitive advantage in combat. They also asked the United Kingdom if they would like to form a military alliance since they both opposed FM and Austria-Hungary. The United Kingdom would accept their request and the two began invasion plans of Austria-Hungary. On the other side of things, Austria-Hungary was also mobilizing and recruiting more members to help them out, while FM decided to come out of hiding in Europe and to form a country next to Austria-Hungary named Lithuania, which would be aligned with Austria-Hungary. Another country would be formed named the Baltic Union, just north of Lithuania, who would be also aligned with Austria-Hungary and Lithuania. On October 14th, some forces from the US and UK would all gather up in the capital of the UK for whatever reason. At that same time, members from Austria-Hungary, Lithuania, and the Baltic Union were all online, and once they saw them all in that area, they knew they would attack. So they all met up in Norway, which was owned by Austria-Hungary, and they prepared for a huge fight. Just a few minutes later, Woolly Badger would type the following in chat: "We the people of the United States of America declare war on Austria-Hungary." Since Lithuania and the Baltic Union were aligned with Austria-Hungary, they were immediately dragged into the war on Austria-Hungary's side. Anyways, after they declared war, the US and UK forces departed from the capital of the UK and made their way to Norway overseas. Once they finally made a naval landing in Norway, they made their way on foot over to the Austria-Hungary, Lithuania, and Baltic Union forces, or in other words, the Eastern European powers, which was the name of their alliance. Once the US and UK came face to face with them, they had a stare down for over 10 minutes until finally the US and UK decided to attack first. They rushed them with speed 2, making them hard to hit while also getting some good hits on them, which resulted in the US and UK winning the fight with 0 casualties while also killing all European forces. After their win, they planted American flags all over Norway and made their way overseas to the mainland Eastern European territories. They landed in an old base near the Kaliningrad area and started to march through the undefended territory. They captured the hideout, aka capital of Lithuania, and then eventually captured Budapest, the capital of Austria-Hungary. They burned down and blew up the majority of the structure standing in Budapest, making it a wasteland. The US and UK stopped their invasion there and would continue the next day, capturing this much land from that day. The next day, on October 15th, no major battles would occur other than some minor fights along the front lines and the griefing of the US capital. Anyways, by the end of the day, the US actually lost some of their holdings in Eastern Europe, including Budapest. The next day, on October 16th, the US began to fear the war may fall in favor of the Eastern European powers, so they managed to get Russia to join alongside the USA. Now feeling quite confident, the USA, UK, and Russia thought they would be able to recapture Budapest. So as the Eastern European forces were defending Budapest, the USA and their allies entered the city but didn't attack. They instead had a stare-off against Eastern European forces. The stare-off endured for quite a while until it got to the point where both sides were questioning if a fight would even happen. But the US and their allies finally acted and attacked. The US and their allies got an advantage from the start because the Eastern European forces had been separated and distracted, which allowed for the US's side to almost instantly kill some of the Eastern European forces. And once they had all grouped up, it was already too late for the Eastern Europeans because the USA side had already killed enough people to outnumber the Eastern Europeans, allowing for a somewhat easy win for the USA side. The US, UK, and Russia would end up winning the fight and killing all of the Eastern European forces defending Budapest. The Eastern European forces were nowhere near being finished yet because they still had many backup sets to continue the fight with. With these backup sets, they would return to fighting in Budapest many times over for 2 hours to try and recapture the city, but would ultimately fail over and over again. They would eventually give up and stop trying to retake Budapest and would move on. This series of fights in Budapest would be known as one big battle named the Battle of Budapest, which would be the largest battle of the war. It would take too long for me to explain the rest of the battle in detail, so instead I'll play a montage of the most notable moments in the battle recorded by Bob Blair, a man fighting for the USA. Anyways, after the battle, there were suspicions that Gear was hacked in on the Eastern European side by Power, the leader of Austria-Hungary. These speculations would lead to Power admitting he used a hack client to hack in items for their side's advantage, which got him banned for 1 week and 2 days. Because of this ban, Austria-Hungary was forced to surrender. Right before being banned, Power quoted, "I will be back." The war was basically over after this, considering Austria-Hungary was kind of the main character and was the strongest for their side. This led to the Baltic Union surrendering alongside Austria-Hungary. Lithuania would resist surrendering for a few days until October 19th, when they finally would surrender, leaving no more people fighting for the Eastern European powers, leading to the war being concluded, lasting from October 14th to October 19th. Speaking of Lithuania, the man leading it, named FM, would suddenly disappear from the realm completely unannounced and would never return even to this day. He would very rarely be on his Discord account, but only for small periods of time, and he would not be on his Xbox account at all. Anyways, after the war was over, a peace deal was organized where Norway would fall into the USA's hands along with the Kaliningrad area. Ireland would be given to the UK along with Greece, while Ukraine would be given to Russia. Now, Austria-Hungary lost the majority of their land and was reduced down to the original lands of Hungary when it first formed, which dismantled Austria-Hungary. Lithuania and the Baltic Union were reduced in size slightly, while the rest of Europe was either liberated or was given to other countries. After the peace deal was finalized, the map ended up looking like this. The post-war effects were most severe in the USA and Hungary because Budapest was completely destroyed, most of their land was gone, and their leader was now banned. As for the USA, they suffered greatly because their capital city was heavily grieved, causing most of their players to go inactive. This war was by far the largest war in the realm so far and would cause the realm to go into a period of inactiveness for a little over a week. Lastly, this war would also change the way wars were fought. You see, all previous wars were fought with swords and explosives, but this war was fought with all kinds of different things like tipped arrows, golden and god apples, splash potions, and even more. This just about concludes part 1 of this series. If you would like to learn more about the remaining history of the realm, then go check out part 2 of this, which will be put in the description once it is posted. Anyways, that's it for now. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out part 2. See ya.